The mayor of Washington, D.C. is optimistic after her conversation with Donald Trump this week. Mayor Muriel Bowser had what she called a great meeting with Trump on Monday at Mar-a-Lago. She says they discussed shared priorities involving the federal workforce, buildings, and park space. In a statement, the mayor said both she and Trump want Washington, D.C. to, quote, reflect the strength of our nation. And Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C. joins us now. Good morning, Mayor.
Madam Mayor, welcome. It's great to have you at the table.
It's my pleasure.
He's about to lie and say, thank you for coming to the D.C. corner. I was like, you're not even an actual resident.
Well, I'm not, but my daddy is. And so I've been a part of the city my whole life. So first off, I think people need to understand that despite past differences are past. You're coming into a new administration. This city is a very important part of that. It was important for you to make that initiative to go and have the conversation with the incoming president, as you would do with any new administration coming, about the heart and soul of this city, what it means, how you're governing it, how it needs to be governed given the relationship with the Congress and the White House. How did those conversations go? And what should city residents expect from this administration, particularly given some of the words used by the former president, soon to be new president, about this city, referring to it as a killing field, rejecting a lot of the efforts to protect citizens during the Black Lives Matter movement, et cetera. How did you do that dance?
Well, let me just say this. You are right that the city of Washington, D.C., the capital city, has a different relationship with the president of the United States than any other city in America. We're proud that we're the nation's capital. We're a host of the federal government. We're the host of grand events that show people what the United States of America is. And I have had the privilege now to work, this will be my third transition with the president and the second with Donald Trump. And so just like in 2016, where I traveled to Trump Tower at the time where he was handling his transition, this time I spoke with him at Mar-a-Lago where he's handling his transition. And I would characterize it as a forward-looking meeting where we talked about the things that are important for the district and for him in his second term. I think it was candid. I think it was level setting, and we are looking forward to working on those shared priorities.
It's my understanding it was not contentious, that you all focused on, as you just said, your shared priorities, and it wasn't necessarily, there was not rehashing of things, and you did discuss crime as well.
Oh, for sure. And no, it wasn't rehashing. And I would say that it was like any meeting that you would expect between two leaders that have constituents who want to move the city and the nation forward. It was not a quick meeting either. It was not rushed.
How long was it?
I say we were there between 45 minutes and an hour because we got to
They brought coffee.
We got to meet the right people who we're going to have ongoing relationships with between the city and the administration. So I was proud to, as when I tell everybody about DC, I start with who we are because a lot of people don't know. They think that we're wards of the federal government. No, we're not. We take care of ourselves. We have a $20 billion budget that we raise from taxpayers, our residents, businesses, visitors to the district. We invest in things that help our city grow. I let them know that we are the #1 state in terms of residential growth. #1. And so now we have surpassed our pre-pandemic population back to over 700,000 people in Washington. We've driven violent crime down, and candidly, we had a tough year. But
in fact, it's down 35%.
35% in all categories. And that's from last year, but we're also down from 2019. So before the pandemic, when no one was talking about crime, our levels are below that. We have done a great job, I think, of attracting business and focusing on the things that make us special, like our sports teams. And so all of that has been good for the city. So I always lead our conversation with who we are and how the federal government can help us, not by, changing anything about how we work, but investing in the things that we need.
And when it comes specifically to this question of the federal workforce, which of course represents a big part of your constituency, your tax base. I mean, does it concern you that he has tied himself to Project 2025 and what is a declared war on the administrative state?
Well, what I focus on, Alicia, is that the federal workforce in the National Capital Region, that's D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, has helped America be productive. And I think that we need to focus on the great talent, all of the infrastructure that has been built.
But do you think those people are going to have jobs in a Trump administration?
I think that most of them are going to have jobs, and they should have jobs. And there's a reason why they should have jobs here in the National Capital Region. And that's an ongoing conversation that the governors and I hope will have. Continue to have with the president, why this region has supported a productive workforce. Now, we shared the view that there has to be a centralized telework policy. I don't think that the federal workforce has been served well by each agency doing their own thing when it comes to in-person work. And I don't think it's been served well by having buildings that are sitting virtually empty. So we're going to be able to attract a great workforce, have, the esprit de corps that helps us do big things in our nation. I think we need to reestablish that in-person work culture.
As I say, good luck getting those federal employees back into the office. But given the fact that they could be losing their jobs under this administration,
maybe they want to come. Look, when I worked at the White House, the mayor was like, people need to go back to work.
Yes, well, that's what D.C. government workers are doing and have done since shortly after the pandemic. And we're frontline folks. We are going to be here. We have some bad weather coming in. Hopefully it passes us by. But we count on the 37,000 people that work for D.C. government to be there and be in person. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Can we talk about RFK?
I was going to get to RFK, but I'd want to do a little bit of...
Here you go.
So did you get a sense, do you have a sense that that conversation was a two-way, genuine conversation?
Yes.
Okay, because it's important, I think, for particularly for city residents to understand that there are a lot of members on the Hill that have this city in the crosshairs. And so for me, it's important to hear that you walked away from that feeling, okay, this is different, this will work. We seem to, at least right now, be on the same page, and your people can keep doing that follow-up to all those good things. You have that's the word. You have access.
I have access. And to be honest, I've always had access to him. Even in the more difficult times. Right. He operates a little bit differently, maybe because he comes from the business world. I heard one of the folks here at MSNBC say this, that she decided one day, well, I'm just going to call him and ask him for an interview. And she called him and he picked up the phone. So he operates a little bit differently. And one of the things, and I don't think I'm speaking out of school and saying this, before I left, I said, Mr. President, how are we going to get in touch with you? Because that is important to me. And in this world where so many tweets or posts and this, like, let's if I have a question or you have a question, let's figure out how we can talk about it. And that's just our approach. Our approach is similar to the members of Congress. So we've worked with every iteration now. I've been mayor 10 years. And so we've had every leader or speaker or president, everything that you can imagine. And so we just have to go. I have a responsibility to work with who the people send. Right. And that's what we do.
You know what? This is how DC got RFK back. Because it really speaks to it. I think that because there was a time when people thought, oh, it's not going to happen in the bipartisan bill,
Right.
and it wasn't in the House version.
But a change of ownership helped.
A change of ownership helped. But I'm talking about in this particular Congress in the ninth hour, in that it wasn't in the House bill, but it was because it's my understanding of the relationships.
It was in the House bill, then it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yes.
But it was in the Senate version, and it got passed. And it wasn't just Democrats; it was Republicans and Democrats that you had to go to get this done.
Yes,
and it's significant.
And just for those of us who are listening on SiriusXM, we're talking about the RFK Stadium, not RFK, who may or may not be the head of
Yes,
the
Right.
and we're actually talking about that
Although he used some
177 acres that surrounds the stadium. And what it will be is a wonderful mixed-use development along the banks of the Anacostia River.
Will it have a team in that facility?
You know, I
Because
feel
Maryland
good.
has a different view. Now,
Well,
as a former lieutenant governor of Maryland, I have to.
Here he goes.
I
At this
appreciate
point,
that.
say,
I appreciate that. Well, we know that
Northwest-
Maryland has a team. It's called
Northwest
the Baltimore Ravens. And
Well, California's got a number of teams too. So
that's true. But the Washington Commanders aren't, how about the Commanders?
I know, I
They're
love
going
it.
to the playoffs.
There we go.
We have the best quarterback, I think, in the league, and he's doing big things.
Shout
And
out to Jaden Daniels.
We're super, super proud
Go
of them.
Jaden.
And so, as I told my friends in Maryland, I like our chances. We're going to work with it. Whether we have the team or not, we're going to have a great development for D.C. residents, 177 acres. So more jobs, connections to the Anacostia, more park space, recreation space, and, of course, sports.
Well, looking forward to it. I hope there's a Target. Okay. So I'm just-
We like Target. We
With
like
the
shopping.
Target.
Madam Mayor, you know I love a Target.
Oh, Lord.
Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Just
much.
have a restaurant that.
We're going to have restaurants, too.
Restaurants.
We love the restaurant. Thank you very much,
Thank
Madam
you.
Mayor.